Hello, it's the Friday Talkie and I'm kicking my tripod. That sounds really bad. What have I got to talk about today? Quite a bit actually. YouTube have announced that they are starting a pay to view, subscribe, something. Certain channels are now able to charge for you to watch their videos. What do I think of that? Well, I don't know what the conditions are for what channels are allowed to do this, but I can assure you that even if I was allowed to, I absolutely would not do it, have no intention of doing it, will not ever do it. But am I opposed to it? No, not really. Don't give a crap. I've seen the kind of channels that are doing it, and these are like TV channels who are using YouTube instead of things like Love Film or what you call it, that other thing, Netflix and Hulu, whatever that is. We don't get that over here that I'm aware of. They're using it as an alternative to that. Personally, I don't think that's what YouTube was supposed to be about, but if they want to do that, fine. I don't care. I'm not going to watch. Do I think they'll succeed? Don't care. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect us. As a gaming community, I think anyone who isn't a multi-million subscriber channel, if they were to go for the pay to subscribe model, they would be screwed and no one would watch, and that would be the end of their channel. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, it's something that's just, it's set aside, it's something different. Yeah, YouTube might be running it and whatever, but I mean, not concerned, don't care, let them get on with it. It ain't going to affect us, as far as I'm concerned. It certainly isn't going to affect me. If there are any channels that I was watching who have gone for that, I won't be watching them, because I'm not going to pay to watch this kind of, the kind of content that I watch isn't the kind of content that you could charge for. And if anyone I'm watching decides that they are the kind of thing they're charging for, or can charge for, or should charge for, they're having a laugh. So that will be the end of their channels very rapidly. Yeah, that's that. I don't think it's something to worry about. I'm not going to get all hot under the collar about it. Just like, don't care. Yeah. A question I was asked, and I sort of tried to answer last week, do I have to do a lot of dusting? And I said no. And I tried to describe the kind of duster that I use, and I couldn't think of the name of it. And I actually tried to buy one, because the one I had been using was knackered. And I can't buy them anymore. I was quite pissed off, but I've got something that's very similar to it, and in fact better. It looks like that, only this one is very cool in that, if I can make it work, you extend it like that and you can reach even further by putting on that, and then you can make it go even further by it's big telescopic duster, and I can reach, hey, I can reach the top shelf. You can't see that, but I can damn near reach the ceiling with this. So, and it's great because it's so fluffy that gets in between the keys on the computers and stuff, and it doesn't just move the dust. You know, traditional dust, you like a feather duster, you dust around and it just kicks the dust about and redistributes it. This picks it up and keeps it in all the little fluffy bits, and it's good. I rate it very highly. I got it from Wilkinson's for, I don't know, not very much. Now I can't make it go back. I'll do that later. Yeah. So that's what I use for dusting. You really wanted to know that, I know. But it's useful to know. Couldn't tell you what it's called, can't remember. Threw the box away already. But it was cheap, it was about £1.29 or something like that. Whatever. Anyway, I'm going to respond to a couple of videos. About 3 videos actually. The first one being by RPKGameVids. He asked a very good question. Realistic versus unrealistic games. What do you prefer? There's also a very good response to that video by GamerGeezer. Links down there to their original videos. Realistic versus unrealistic games. What do you prefer? That is... It's an interesting question, and not necessarily an easy one for me to answer, because it varies depending on the kind of game that I'm playing. And the kind of game that I play mostly is, well, racing games. And I go for realism about 90% of the time. I mean, Gran Turismo, to me, is just... I love it. I have loved it since the very first one, and every version they brought out I have loved. And it is the realism that I like. Other driving games that kind of do it for me, if you like. The, what do you call it? Test Drive Unlimited. I like those. I like the realism, and I like the sandbox aspect of them as well, just being able to go and drive around this great big landscape that's believable. I like that in games. I like the believable landscape in Grand Theft Auto. Some of the characters in it might not necessarily be realistic, but that's, I think, missing the point. The real world nature of the environment that you're playing in, I do really like it. There are some unrealistic games I like. I mean, in driving games, I like Ridge Racer 1, and I guess the other ones that came out on the PS1, alright, but I like the first one the best, and partly because I kind of drive around the drifting arcadey side of it. I avoid that. I brake into the corners and keep my finger on the brake button whilst also accelerating, and it stops it drifting. So I drive it as if it was a realistic racer, which I know it's missing the point. But, you know, I can play Ridge Racer just by avoiding the unrealistic nature of it. Which, I mean, I guess I don't really like the unrealistic thing that much. So I'm disproving my own point there. But, I mean, Mario Kart. Love Mario Kart. It's as unrealistic as you can get. It is probably my favourite unrealistic game. I can't think of many. I mean, yeah, you can go back to your retro stuff, and none of it is really very realistic. But so we'll say on fairly current gen. And I'm looking at what have I got up there? Well, I've got Ratchet and Clank, and that's not realistic. And do I like it? Not really. Most of what I've got that I like is realistic. I mean, some of the environments and this and that. Is it scenario, call it what you like. Futuristic. Now, is that realistic? Well, I don't know, because the situations you find yourself in, you know, we can't encounter those right now, but the physics and stuff like that tend to be realistic. I mean, I've played that first-person shooter that comes in the orange box. What's it called? Team Fortress. Because I like first-person shooters, and sometimes third-person. I can't even remember if that's first or third. But I do know it's not what I would call realistic. And I don't like it. I played it once. Though, to be fair, it wasn't the unrealistic nature of it that put me off it. I don't like the confined area that you fight in. I'm a Battlefield 3 player, and I like the big, wide-open spaces. If I feel confined by a game, I'm just kind of not going to play it. Not in first-person shooting, anyway. I mean, unrealistic. What have I got? Most of what I've got is fairly realistic. Not really. I think anything I've got that is unrealistic has been given to me or come bundled with something. So really, in terms of modern games, I mean, retro, none of it's really realistic, so then it just doesn't matter. But in terms of modern gaming, no, I go for realistic almost every time. I don't really do the arcadey handling, arcadey physics. And it's something RPKGameVids said. When it comes to fighting games, then it's a different matter. And I'm with him there. A Street Fighter 2, love it. Love the absolutely bizarre, wacky thing where Virtua Fighter is kind of, you're going for a more realistic fighting thing there. No, I don't want that. I want fireballs and electric shock things and all of that. But probably fighting games are the only one where I do go for a lack of realism. Probably because I'm crap at them and I want an unfair advantage, like long distance weapons, so the other guy can't get near me. I think I'd be like that in the real world, actually. If it came down to a punch up or shoot the guy with a laser. Give me the laser, please. I would be too easy to beat up otherwise. Yeah, that is about that, I think. It's an interesting question. I don't know that my answer was... was it enlightening? Maybe not. But, yeah. Do watch his and GamerGeezer, his video as well. His response is very good and well worth watching. Links down below there. So, now, my response to another video. And in fact, this is going to be two tied in together because I'll explain when I get there. Alright. Lawnboy's post asks, are you happy with your channel? If you could, knowing what you know now about having a YouTube channel, if you could, would you give yourself any advice about having a channel? Yeah, I would. Now, he concluded at the end of his video that actually he wouldn't, because the learning process is part of having a YouTube channel. And that's true. But I am lazy and I am very inclined to take shortcuts if I can. And if I could take a shortcut to having a better channel right at the start, I would. Most definitely. You know, I totally understand his why he says he wouldn't. I would. I'm lazy. I started off not knowing what the hell I was doing. If I could go back, what I would tell myself would be three things. This could potentially apply to everyone's channel. I'm just going to apply it to myself because different people have different expectations, requirements, blah. So I'll just apply this to myself. The first thing I would tell myself is put yourself into the video. And I don't necessarily mean point the camera at you. When I started making gameplay videos, I took the view of it was all about the game. And I didn't talk very much, and I tried to keep a very low profile, and if I did speak, I would be brief and quite quiet. It was like I felt embarrassed to be putting my voice on this video. I didn't know if I should, I didn't know if people would want it there. And to this day, I still get people leaving comments saying, will you shut the fuck up and just play the game? It doesn't happen very often, and I tell them where to go. My advice would be to me, it's partly about the game, but it's not all about the game, because there are 1,000,000,001 channels out there where all there is gameplay. And do I find them fun to watch? No, I don't. I don't watch them. I don't give a damn about them for the most part, unless they're doing comparisons. There are one or two channels I watch where they don't speak, but they have a series of clips of the same game played on different systems. Those I watch. Other than that, I don't subscribe to any of those channels. Or maybe if I want to see what a particular game looks like, I'll do a quick search, I'll find one of those random channels and I'll watch the game. But I'm not subscribing to them. I want people to subscribe to me and my channel. So, you're going to get people to subscribe. You've got to stand out, and you're never going to do that by just doing gameplay. It's not all about the game, it's about the person recording it and presenting it as well. So put your personality into it. Speak lots. Have fun while doing it, and make it clear that you're having fun while doing it. Or if you're hating every moment of it, let them know about that too. You know, pull the viewer in. Get them emotionally involved, if you like. If you're having fun, maybe they'll have fun. If you're being a complete twat, maybe they'll get angry at you, but they'll sure as hell remember who you are. And that's what you want. Be memorable. Put your personality into it. Speak up. Don't be afraid to inject your character into the video. That's what I would tell myself. It took me quite a long while to work this out, and I've said it before, it dawned on me eventually on a video that I like to call Super Fart Attack. Can't remember what the game is actually called. It was a Tandy Coco game, Space Invader clone, where I was having such a laugh playing it, and it was the first time I ever really got silly in a video, and the response to it was excellent, and I realised, hold on, this is what I need to be doing. That would be my first piece of advice to me. My second piece of advice to me would be, get the best equipment you can afford. For a long time I took the attitude of, this is the camera I've got, this is the camera I'm going to use. Don't tell me to get a better camera, I'm using what I've got, these things cost money. And it's true, they do cost money. But your results are just, if you buy something that is better, if you've got something that's a piece of crap and you can't afford something better, fine, I get that. I was there for a long while. But when I was able to afford something better, I got something better. And I am very glad that I did, because the results are so much better. It was worth doing it. The response from viewers is better. I go back and I look at my earlier videos shot with that old camera and I cringe and I think, I wish I'd got a better camera earlier. I wish I could have afforded it earlier. And I think maybe I'll go back and redo that video, especially the very early ones, the Atari ones. But it's like, when do I've still got so many that I haven't recorded, you know, games. I figure when I have recorded video of everything I've got, and God knows when that'll be, then I'll go back to the start and redo the old ones that I just look at them now and they're shoddy. So yeah, I would say to myself, as soon as you can afford something better, get it. It's worth it. It looks better, it sounds better, it's easier to watch. You will get less people saying, yeah, great video, but the quality is shite. And it stings when people say that, especially when you know it's true. And I mean, I was always, people would say, get a better camera, and I'd say, buy me one. Because, you know, it is annoying to be told that when you're on a really tight budget. But, I don't know. Is it valid advice? Because I know for a lot of people, it's just not practical. For me, for a long time, it was not practical. But then for quite a while, I was just like, this is what I use, deal with it. Though I could have afforded something new. And in the end, I just got sick of the complaints and went out and bought a better camera. And it's still not a great camera. And now I would like something, I would love to get a digital SLR so I can get the whole depth of field thing for when I'm just videoing myself like this. And that, and I like photography anyway. But there you go. That's the second thing I would tell myself. The third thing I would tell myself, and this ties in with another video by YTGCnow. This is Trouble8385 on his YouTube gaming community channel. Dealing with trolls. And he asks, how do you deal with trolls? He tells how he deals with trolls and asks how would we do it. And this would be my piece of advice to myself as well. Back several years ago, I got involved in a piece of drama. In fact, it happened twice. Two different individuals who shall remain nameless because that's all ancient history and I just not digging that up. But anyway, I got involved in some drama. Some people behaved in a way, you know, on video and in comments that I didn't like. And I made videos responding to that, saying what I thought and saying stuff that I thought was needed to be said. And I stand by what I said, but that's neither here nor there. I shouldn't have said it. This is what I would say to myself if I could go back. Don't get involved in that shit. It's not your business. What you say might be a valid comment, but it doesn't need saying. Because all it does is ramp it up. And it went on for ages and ages and ages. And I got harassed for a long time. And it was irritating. And through this I learned, don't respond at all. If there's video trolling going on, do not respond in any way at all, ever. You know, you block them, you flag them, whatever. You file your reports, but in no way on screen ever respond. Ever. That's one thing. Dealing with trolls in comments. and this is not the advice I would give myself. That my advice was video, you know, drama and whatnot. But responding to Trouble8385's question, how do you deal with trolls? In comments, I have a zero tolerance policy, absolutely zero tolerance. If someone says something and I think their intention is to offend, I block them, I delete them. And that's the end of that. Now, Trouble said, there are some people who are making a joke and they're not actually intending to be offensive. They're being cheeky or whatever. And he responds to people who are behaving in a certain manner as if they're making a joke. And sometimes they come back and say, hey, you're cool, you know, you got it. I totally respect his thinking and how he does that. I don't do that. I take the view that if someone behaves like a dick, whether it's a joke or not, they're behaving like a dick. And I don't care whether they think I'm cool or not if I let them get away with it. Because I take the view that other people are reading these comments. There are people who are maybe thinking of getting a YouTube channel, doing their own, and I don't want to see them scared away. And if someone's behaving like a complete twat in comments, that might put those people off. I mean, yeah, you've got to be thick-skinned because you are always going to get trolls. But I try to keep it to an absolute minimum in my comments. If someone makes a joke that doesn't look like a joke, like it looks like an insult, and there's, I mean, putting a wink on the end, you know, little winking smiley, fine. There will be those who will be insulting and then put a smiley on the end as if to say, hey, I just insulted you, but there's a smiley, so it's okay. No. But, you know, if it's a joke, it's got to clearly be a joke. And if someone makes a joke and it's not obvious that it's a joke, and I am really bad at spotting jokes, I'm going to block them. I don't care. If it looks like an insult, I'm going to tell them to piss off. Because I have no tolerance for that at all. I mean, I absolutely can take a joke. You've seen my videos. I have a sense of humour. But, and it's something, it's like Internet 101 when using text-based forums, comment systems, whatever. The very, very, very first thing you should ever learn. Sarcasm and irony do not translate to text, because you can't hear the person's tone of voice. So, in the real world, you can slap someone on the back and say, you're an ugly fucking bastard, aren't you? And it's an affectionate thing. Or it can be. Excuse my French and all that, but you know. But you do that on here, and all you see is the words. There's no inflection or tone of voice or anything to get any message from. And if I see someone behaving like that in my comments, I don't care what they meant. I care what they said. Because that's all anyone can see, you know. And I've got no tolerance for it whatsoever. I have blocked some people in the past because they've done that. And they have reached me via other means. And I have unblocked them, and this is more than one person. I have unblocked them, but by God, I've torn a shred off them and told them, for Christ's sake, think about what you're doing. Think about the message you're putting across. Think about the people you're putting off making videos, because you're going to scare them away because they think everyone on here is a bloody arsehole. Yeah, that's how I deal with trolls. Wow, was that a bit intense? It is something I feel quite strongly about. I have no tolerance for it. I'm much the same in the real world. If someone behaves like a... What's the saying? If it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it is a duck. Well, if someone behaves like a twat, they probably are a twat, and that's how I treat them. And if they were just joking, well, they need to be a bit more obvious about it, eh? Did I have something else to talk about? I think that was everything. God, that was a bit serious, wasn't it? Yeah. I have a shout out. Just pulling it up on the screen. Here we go, let's turn this around. Okay, this is a new channel. There are currently, How many videos on here? 2. I've watched one of them. But I'm giving them a shout out on the strength of that one video. This is Classic Gaming Webcast. And he plays classic games on various systems that I can tell. I don't know if he was using, I don't know what Atari 8-bit there, 2600 there. This is all about personality. He's playing the more obscure games, which is good because there are so many umpteen billion channels who are doing the same thing. And you know, you kind of know what you're going to hear. So it's nice to see someone doing videos of the less commonly known stuff. But that isn't even why I'm shouting him out. It is all about personality. He has got a character that I like. He's chirpy and fun and interesting. I use the word interesting so much it kind of loses its meaning. He's American, as far as I can tell. My apologies if you're Canadian. That is one of the things about the new YouTube thing. It doesn't tell you where a person comes from. And being English, I can usually tell a Canadian apart from an American, but sometimes I get it wrong. But his style is different from what I'm used to from that neck of the woods. It is not in your face. It is not bragging. It is not full of superlatives and that kind of thing. Which is not to say that all Americans do that. Just a lot that I come across. And I'm probably digging myself a hole here. I'm not anti-American, honest. Yeah, but he's got a style that I find very easy to listen to, and it's fun. And it puts a smile on my face in a way that a lot of channels don't. He's kind of, is it like a TV station or radio station thing? Well, I don't know. Maybe one from quite a long while back, perhaps, before the whole bragging thing became popular. I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's chirpy. It's kind of like good old boys. There's a bit of oh God, Dukes of Hazzard kind of friendly, welcoming, small town. I don't know, not Wild West, but you know, yeah. Some very, very refreshing. That's what it is. It's just his way of doing it is very refreshing. I like it. So he gets my shout out. He's only done 2 videos so far, 6 days ago, 3 days ago. I really hope he does more. He's got 8 subscribers right now. Do check him out. If you like what he's doing, subscribe. And whatever your name is, because I don't know, because if you said I've forgotten and if it's written down, I'm blind. Please do more, because I like what you're doing. There. Now, if I've got any subscribers left from America, hello. What's coming up? I don't know. I'm going to do more of the Intellivision stuff because I've got that disc and it's easy. That for those who haven't been watching, I've got. Where have I put it? I've lost it. I've got this. Wow, there's a phrase from the past. I've got this. Yes, and it's got loads of Intellivision stuff on it. And it's a lot easier than hooking up my Intellivision and that, and I haven't got any of those games, or most of them, I've only got a very small collection of Intellivision games, and then the colour on my Intellivision is a bit whacked anyway, and blah blah, I talked all about that already. But I'm going to do some more of them. I am going to try the VCR technique that has been described to me for hooking up some of my computers that this TV just doesn't like. Where if I plug them in through the aerial socket, which is the only way of plugging them in, and then you tune it in and this TV just won't lock onto them. So I'm going to try the thing where you tune the You plug the computer into a VCR, you tune that into it, because some of the older ones, I guess, have finer tuning, maybe, or are more able to lock on, and then run a SCART output from the VCR into the TV. That might work. I've tried it before on, I can't remember if it was my Dragon 32 or one of my Cocos, and it didn't work. But when I think about it, I don't think I used a SCART lead. I think I did an aerial in and then aerial out, which effectively was just a straight pass through, bypassing any locking on whatsoever of the VCR onto the computer, I think. So if it was sending the same frequencies just straight through to the TV, then no, it wouldn't lock on any more easily. That's what I think. I might be wrong, but I'm going to give it a go with a SCART lead and a VCR. I've got 2 VCRs I can try it on as well. I think that's about it. Other stuff coming up? No. I've got other stuff going on one of my other channels at the moment. I've been putting some stuff on playing Android badly. I've mentioned it on Twitter. I'm finding a certain taste of game on Android that my taste in games on Android, I'm finding is not what I thought it would be, because I thought I was going to be playing first-person shooters and stuff that would normally appear on consoles, but that's not what I'm finding I'm into. I'm into the more bizarre, strange, silly, stupid stuff like tractor simulators and cranes and lorries. And I put up a couple this week. I've done a forklift truck racing simulatory thing. It was not really a simulator at all, but anyway, forklift truck racing and oh shit, phone. Hang on. I thought it was going to be my wife, but it's an international cold caller. They can piss right off. Yeah. The other one. I'm going to get onto the cold calling thing in a minute. It's made me think of something. Yeah, the other one that I have done is Desert Truck, which is kind of based on Desert Bus by Penn and Teller for the Mega CD. Basically, you're in a truck, you're in the desert, you're driving. The road is dead straight, nothing happens. You just drive and drive and drive in a straight line. And it's very, very, very dull. But I love it, and I've got that on my other channel, Playing Android Badly, and it's a 30-minute long video, and I talk a lot, and drink beer, and belch. Yeah, the cold calling thing, that was an international one, which you can't do, you can't put the wind up them. There's a law in the UK, there's this thing called telephone preference service, where if you have your number listed on that, any company that cold calls you is breaking the law, and you can report them. Now, I hate cold callers, and I whenever they ring now, well, I'll give you an example. We had one yesterday, and I answered the phone, and there's that brief pause that you get where you know it's a machine that's called you, and then you get to the second hello, and then someone speaks, and the guy says, "Could I speak to the homeowner, please?" And I said, "For God's sake, you don't even know the name of the person you're phoning, and you think you're going to sell something to me? Can I ask who's calling, please? My name's Anthony." He didn't say it in that tone. He said, "I'm Anthony." And I'm like, "Great, Anthony, what's the name of the company you're phoning from? Who are you working for?" "Oh, energy thingamy blah blah." I said, "Right, Anthony, go to your supervisor and tell him this phone number is X directory. This telephone number is registered with the telephone preference service. You are breaking the law by phoning me. I'm going to sue the arse off of you. Go and tell your supervisor." And I hung up. He sounded very, very, very... probably his first day. I don't care if he's going to disturb me. I mean, it's like the guy who left the the catalogue. Well, I don't know. I never saw the catalogue. I think I threw it out the moment it arrived. Left a card saying, I missed you, I'll call back later. And then he came back. He's like, have you got my catalogue? No. I haven't got your catalogue. I left a catalogue here on Monday. Yeah, it's in the recycling. I didn't ask for it. So it goes in the recycling along with all the other crap that I didn't ask for. And he looked quite taken aback, and I'm like, look, you've disturbed me twice now. Once by putting junk through my letterbox that you want me to keep. Well, I'm not going to. I'm going to throw it away. That's a waste of my time and energy. And now you're making me get up from the sofa from the TV program I'm watching to answer the door to tell you I've thrown it away. You're wasting my time and disturbing me. Go away. Yeah, I can be quite mean when people waste my time. All those people who thought I was a nice guy. Now, I think, I understand that a person like that has got a job to do, but I think they're onto a bad bet where that job involves disturbing people twice and is based solely on commission. You can't make a living doing that because all you're going to do is piss people off. So I have some sympathy for him, but I would say, get a better job. One where you don't have to piss people off. Yeah. Wow, that sounded mean, didn't it? Oh well. Maybe I'll vote Tory next time. No, I really won't. I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to dig myself a hole and upset all kinds of people. And I don't know what. Yeah, okay, shutting up. Thank you for watching.